The following video interviews are part of the USMC VTA History Project, and we're recording at the VTA reunion in Washington D.C., and this is October 30th, 2015. We have Quinter here with us today. And Kent, could you tell us your units that you were with, years in Vietnam, rank, and any specific operation and dates that come to mind?
Okay, was a corporal with the 1st Tank Battalion, mostly with Alpha Company, and mostly stationed from Da Nang. We went to the Phu Bai area and stayed there.
Okay. Phu Bai was tank HQ.
Yeah. At that point, it was just our battalion, headquarters for the 1st Tanks there.
Yeah. When were you there? From when, maybe month and year?
Don't remember the months, but it was 1965, 1966.
Okay. And did you go to Okinawa first?
Came right from the States. We stopped in Japan and then went right to Da Nang.
Oh, okay. All right. So you were there early.
Early on, yes.
Yeah. And
like the second round of people they took out of 2nd Tank Battalion.
I got you. Okay. And is there any particular stories you'd like to tell us about today?
Of course, having read and heard some of the other interviews, I thought it'd be nice for a slight change to just talk about some of the things we did when we were in the company headquarters, when quiet times.
All right.
Other than the people on guard or out on operations, we had a 1st sergeant that could really put up a tarp, and the CBs from across the other side of the airbase would come over, and on Sundays we'd have smokers with them. We'd have boxing matches and boxing matches with the CBs.
All right.
Get the snot beat out of us. We'd also had some people who were well trained in the martial arts, and they would put on demonstrations. And we actually had baseball teams. Almost every platoon had a gang of guys that would play, and we'd play the other platoons.
Okay.
So
wait a minute. Who won the boxing matches?
Well, I think most of the time, unfortunately, I think it was the CBs, because they had the boxers.
Okay.
We had a couple of good wins, I'm sure, but we had a lot of fun. And we'd cook steaks on the grill, and then again, that was early on before things really started to go south.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But it was something that you don't hear a lot about.
Well, that's true.
Some of the times when things were not really going on.
You have volleyball?
No, I don't remember having any volleyball. We may have.
I got you.
Yeah,
okay.
may have.
So it was intermilitary?
Intermilitary and interplatoon sports.
Yeah, I got you.
Again, when there was nothing going on and we weren't out on any operation.
Sure. What about filling sandbags?
We filled some sandbags. We all got to get a little of that.
Mud.
With sand and mud, yes.
All right.
One of the other things that I really wanted to talk about was my platoon was the first one to rotate as a platoon back to Okinawa for repair and replace of the tanks. We took the tanks with us, got to Okinawa to find out that all the parts had been sent to Da Nang. So we tore the tanks apart and painted them and put them back together with the ratty track and the bent up ammo racks, and then we went from there to the Philippines, where we trained for a few days and went on Operation Double Eagle. We left our tanks aboard ship, pulled our .30 caliber machine guns, and went ashore as a machine gun platoon. Even though we weren't split up amongst the infantry outfits, we stayed together, but as a machine gun platoon.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been a fun operation, just till we had a sniper got our one sergeant, Sergeant Crittenden.
Okay.
And that same day, our platoon commander was shot and eventually died from his wounds.
Do you remember the platoon commander?
His name was Bruce Warner.
Okay.
Those were the two really big things that sort of always stuck in my mind.
Right.
Did lots of operations that
Do you remember that operation?
that was Double Eagle.
Okay.
And lots of them, I wondered why I never kept a journal, which I think a lot of guys kick themselves for not having kept a journal.
Sure.
Lots of small operations that lasted a day or two,
Sure.
where we'd sit and watch the infantry sweep a valley and provide any support fire, and then we'd go back to the headquarters at night and set up and enjoy our evening.
Got you. Got you. So you were on how many operations?
I
Have you
couldn't
looked
begin
at-
to guess.
I got you.
We were on a bunch, and again, without having kept a journal, so many with so many different names. And
Did you take many pictures, photos?
I took a fair number of pictures. A lot of them actually took probably more when I was down at Da Nang at first.
Mm-hmm.
We were out guarding a bridge, and don't remember which of the bridges it was. We had 2 vehicles there, and we'd have the day to ourselves. In the evening, we pulled up and blocked the road and the railroad tracks. And
Got you.
the idea was anything that tried to come across the bridge, we took care of.
Yeah.
It was
Did
pretty
you listen
quiet.
to did you listen to the what was the BS frequency music? You remember that?
Armed Forces Radio?
Nah, that
Not-
was
not-
that was
not that one.
Yeah, that was 6 months old. Did you get Hanoi Hannah, or did you get any?
We
of the-
we actually had Hanoi Hannah. She addressed us by the ship name, and it was a troop transport ship. Don't remember the name. While we were, I guess, 2 days out of Da Nang, she addressed our ship and how many Marines were aboard and welcomed us to Vietnam. How she knew, she may have known our names, I don't know.
Oh,
How she knew all that, couldn't guess, but
Oh yeah, she named names.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times.
yeah.
Yeah, Armed Forces Radio was always 6 months behind.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Hanoi Hannah.
Yeah,
had
she
the
was right.
latest stuff.
She was on top of things.
You had to listen. Had to
Yeah.
listen with one sound with one ear and the BS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were really surprised when she named the ship we were on, and how many of us, pretty much down to the Marine that was aboard.
Yeah. Yeah. Got you. Is there any other any other stories that?
Those were the main ones that
I
I
got you.
remembered, where I remembered the people's names and
Sure.
of course a lot of fond memories having come to reunions and
Yeah.
connected with guys who I hadn't seen for 30 or 40 years.
Sure. How many reunions have you made now?
This is my second one, but
Okay.
I've contacted lots of people in between.
Okay. Which other one did you go to?
I was at the one in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. So that was
Yeah,
6 or 8 years ago.
yeah.
So
Since I'm from Pennsylvania, it
Oh,
was,
I got you. That was
East
easy.
Coast ones, and I
I see. Yeah. Yeah.
couldn't quite make the one in
San Diego.
Yeah, couldn't make the one in Charleston, unfortunately.
I got you. Okay. Are you still working?
Still, well, part-time now.
I got you.
I've retired twice.
Okay. All right. What'd you do?
I spent 33 years, 6 months, and 4 days as a police officer.
All right.
But I didn't
All
keep
right.
track of the time.
Thank you again for your service.
Thank you.
Uh,
It was a smaller local police department.
I got you.
When I left there, I went to the local outlet center, Vanity VF Outlets,
Mm-hmm.
and worked there as a security supervisor.
I got you. All right. Pretty.
Now I'm back just 2 days a week.
I got you. Now, and your Marine Corps training has always stuck with you?
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah. Especially
Yes.
on a 45 caliber.
Yeah, I did a lot of, I still own and shoot 45s and
All right.
several others.
Okay.
Of course,
good.
we had 38s when I started on the police department, and went to 40s, but
I got you. What town in Pennsylvania?
Right outside of the city of Reading, Wyomissing.
No, I don't know that.
Small town, Wyomissing's an Indian name, means place of flats along the river.
I got you. Okay, what river?
Well, the Wyomissing Creek, and we're right off of the Tulpahawken Creek, which,
All right, okay, I've heard of that.
and the Schuylkill River.
I got you. Okay, all right. I'm vaguely familiar with Pennsylvania. And what was your feelings when you came home?
Well, I didn't have a lot of people, of course, walk up and thank me for my service.
Oh, that's true.
But most people just sort of either left me alone or.
Yeah, what did you feel? What did you feel?
I was glad to be home. I was glad to have done my service, and I'm sure I became a better person for not only my time in the Marine Corps, but my time in Vietnam.
Sure. Well, you volunteered.
I volunteered, yes.
So was that out of patriotism? How old were you when you went in?
Well, I was actually a senior in high school when I joined.
Okay.
And didn't, when I was in reserves at that point. As soon
Okay.
as I graduated, I went regular and went to boot camp.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Okay. So you were, and how old at that point?
I was 17 when I initially signed on,
see.
but 18 when I
And you were in
went
for
to
how
boot
many
camp.
years?
I was in for 4 years.
Oh, okay. Did you serve all four? Or you,
Served all 4, yes.
And you only served one tour
One tour.
that early? That's,
Yeah.
yeah. And then where'd you serve the rest of your?
They sent me back to the East Coast. I was at Camp Lejeune with the 2nd Tanks, and
Okay.
spent some time down in Gitmo Bay and with the tanks. And
Okay. That probably, I wouldn't say the word saved, but you probably didn't draw a second tour because you were on the East Coast rather than
Yeah, and
in Pendleton or on the
by the
West
time we
Coast.
were back from Cuba, I was down to only a couple of months to go yet.
Right, that's,
so.
yeah, that's probably why, because all the early guys that were there drew two tours.
Drew 2 tours, yes.
Yeah, completely, because
Yeah.
you have 6 months and then 12 and 20. You
Yeah.
only got a year and a half.
Yeah.
Year and a half down and 2.5 to go. Two and a
Yeah.
half to go. You might serve 2 more tours.
Yeah.
That type thing. What rank did you get out?
I got out as a sergeant in E5.
Okay, E5. And what type of tank were you on?
Well, I started with 2nd Tank Battalion in the heavy tanks, the M103s, with
Okay.
a 120 millimeter gun.
Right.
Was on them till I got to Da Nang and was now on an M48.
I got you. And what positions?
I was started as a loader, of course, on the heavy tanks, and actually moved from there to tank commander.
Okay.
And-
From a loader to a tank commander?
Yeah. Well, a tank commander left,
I got
and
you.
I was the PFC at that point, so I got the tank, and
You were
Uh,
TC as a
tank commander as a
PFC?
PFC.
What were the other guys, or did you have anybody else?
Well, they were all privates. Actually, I guess I was probably was a lance corporal
I see,
by the
okay.
time I got the tank,
Oh,
and
no.
they were PFCs and privates.
That's position before rank fast.
Yes, yes, and you know, was a corporal fairly quickly, and
Got you.
also.
Got you. Do you have any sons?
I have one son, one daughter.
Anybody in the Marine Corps?
No, until my brother joined the Marine Corps, there had been no one in the service for.
Is he older? Younger?
He's 5 years older than me,
I see. Okay.
and he was a cannon cocker.
Okay.
So
So was that
Nope.
was that your impetus, your motivation, in
yeah, pretty much, I
Yeah.
was going to join
Saying,
was going to
you
join the
gotta-
Marine Corps anyway.
You got to
I was-
at least be equal.
That's right. But I think at that point there probably wasn't anybody from our family had been in the service till back to the First World War.
Okay.
My father worked in the industry that straightened steel for gun tubes, so he didn't have to go.
Gotcha.
My uncle
Special- it was a
my uncle
specialist,
wasn't overly healthy, so he had medically just was
I see.
not taken.
Yeah, a couple generations. skip,
Yeah.
But yeah.
My son, other than went to college and became a policeman instead of going
I got, okay.
in the service.
Well, he's doing his service.
Yeah.
Yeah, he serves it.
He joined the same police department I retired from.
Oh, really? Really? How many men in the department?
Well, when I started, I was the 7th one.
Okay.
And there was only 7 of us. Now there's about 25.
Yeah, wow.
So
Things grow.
yeah.
With the
Yeah.
with the population. So, is there anything else you'd like to add or discuss?
No, I think that's other than saying that I'm, a better person for having done my service and been in the Marine Corps.
All right.
Wouldn't have been in any other branch.
All right. Oh, yeah. Well, we appreciate your service.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for giving the interview. It really means a lot to us, to the website and future generations.
I'm glad to do it.
I've got. My son was in for about 9 years, but surprisingly, his daughter just signed last week on our officer program that she'll be going in, and it just come out of left field, but the patriotism is there, and the what do you call it? She's following in our footsteps. So it's before I had left the police department, I fortunately enough was there when we had a young Marine Corps captain resign his commission to come to the police department. Wow. Well, yeah, that's good. So I imagine you all were looked up to in the department.
Yeah, there was
Being in the Marine
two of
Corps.
us that had been in the Marine Corps, and
Yeah.
and we had both served in Vietnam. In fact, when I was in the Philippines, we were on the landing craft with the tanks and heard somebody holler my name and looked up the side of the troop transport, and there was the other guy that I had known from reserves.
Wow.
Who had gone regular, and so we were both on the same operation. And
It's a tight group.
Yeah.
I always equate it. You don't see many Army decals or signs on. You see that Army for one,
Yeah.
maybe. You don't maybe see an Air Force, something like that, or my son or daughter's.
An occasional Navy sticker, but yeah.
But you see 10, 20 times the Marine Corps
That's right.
colors.
Yeah.
That I know you have on your car, so do I.
Yeah, several.
Several. Okay, well, let's wrap it up, Kent, and maybe we can get and somebody else here that missed their time.
Okay.
But appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.